A breeze arrived, carrying the fragrance of neem trees through the open window. The night was becoming cool, and Prabhupada wore a light chadar around his shoulders. You know who I mean when I say Prabhupada? That is Prabhupada. He is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and this is one volume of a 6-volume biography of Prabhupada, written by one of his disciples. And so before Prabhupada left India in 1965 and came to the United States, there was no such thing as Krishna consciousness anywhere in the world outside of India. It didn't exist. There was no Hare Krishna, there was no Bhagavad Gita, there was nothing about Krishna consciousness. Pretty much everyone in the United States, I was here before 1965, so I remember, and nobody knew anything about India, practically speaking. Pretty much people still don't, but nowadays, of course, it's a lot later, and people know a lot more now, but back then there was hardly any knowledge of India, never mind the pure, original spiritual tradition of not India, but of the spiritual world being presented in India. This is not Indian religion. This is the eternal knowledge of God, of Krishna. Krishna is the name for God. The eternal knowledge of devotional service to Krishna presented in the Vedas, but it has no beginning in time. Knowledge of God, devotion to God, our relationship with Krishna is eternal. You're eternal, I'm eternal. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavad Gita as it is, where Krishna says to Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. We're eternal. We were never born and we never die. These material bodies take birth at a certain point, and they'll die at a certain point. And we've had just as another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, just as the embodied soul, I'm an embodied soul, you're an embodied soul. We're occupying, just as the embodied soul passes in this life from boyhood or girlhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So that's one thing people knew about India, that people in India believe in reincarnation. And there's all kinds of mixed up ideas about what reincarnation is. Generally, anyway, so you, the soul, or me, this soul, we're occupying this body right now. It's like you're wearing those clothes now, and tomorrow you'll wear different clothes. So the different clothes. So you just put them on and take them off. So the soul puts on one body and takes it off at the time of death. And then puts on another body. That's called the samsara, the cycle of birth and death. But you're always the same person. You don't become a different person just because you take on another body. You're the same person. The example is an actor on a stage or in a movie. In one movie, he's playing a bad guy, and the next movie he's playing the good guy, or an old man, a young man. He plays different parts, but this guy, I know him. He played this other guy in this other movie. It's the same guy. He's just, or the same woman. They're just playing a different part. So that's the actual understanding of the transmigration of the soul. In this body, I'm playing the part of a white American male born in Philadelphia, United States, and grew up out near Boston, in Framingham. But in my last life, I was a giraffe in the jungle in Africa, or I was a shark in the ocean, or I was an Eskimo in far north Canada, or I was whatever. I was a Muslim born in Pakistan or wherever, or I was this, I was that, I was playing a different role. In this life, I'm playing this particular role. We all are. We're just playing different roles from lifetime to lifetime. But we're always the same person. You've always been you, always, eternally, and you'll always be you, eternally. And Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of all existence, the source of our existence. You don't know, I don't know how I exist. I didn't make myself. My parents didn't make me. I don't know how I exist. Where did I come? I don't know. I don't know. But somehow, here I am. Here you are. And we exist. But I don't know how I came to exist. But we come from a source. Everything comes from a source. That's everything that we know is created. This drum was made by people. Everything that we see is made by someone. So we come from someone too, and that someone is God, and someone is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we come from God. Our source, our existence is in Krishna eternally, and we're eternally related to Krishna in the most intimate, pure, and loving relationship of Krishna. But in this material world, we've forgotten Krishna, and we think I am the body. We're not the body, but we think I'm the body. We identify very closely with the body, but the body is nothing more than a machine or a suit of clothes that we wear. We're not the body, and but our identity, our thoughts of our identity are intricately related with this lump of matter. It's just a lump of matter. That's all it is. It's just a machine. And anyway, the point of all religion, any religion means to reawaken the knowledge of our eternal relationship with God. That's what religion is. Religion isn't just some rules and regulations or some rituals or some this or that or a church or a temple, but it's the knowledge, the understanding of our eternal relationship with Krishna that we've forgotten. Everyone knows the concept, like of amnesia. Someone has a wife and family, but they forget who they are, and I don't know. But then somehow by treatment or by time, they can remember who they are. Or the other example is when you sleep at night, you forget who you are. You don't know. You're not identifying in the same way as you are when you're awake. We forget. But as soon as you wake up, you remember. Oh, I'm John Jones. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I work at the tea, station master at the tea. I got to go to work. I got this I got to see my friends today. I got to do this. I got to do that. As soon as you wake up, you start to remember who you are and what your relationships are, what you have to do. But when you're asleep at night, you forget everything. You forget. You don't know. And so we are eternally part and parcel of Krishna, but we've forgotten. We've forgotten Krishna. You come to the temple, you come to the church, and you say, who is God? I don't know. I don't know who God is. But the God is everything. He's the source of everything. The source of you, the source of me, the source of the air, the source of the earth, the source of the sun and moon, the source of life, the source of everything is everywhere. Nothing exists except for God and the energies of Krishna. So nothing exists other than Krishna. And so it's actually quite astounding that the only thing that exists is Krishna and Krishna's energy and us in our relationship with Krishna, but we don't know. That's the forgetfulness of the material world. It's called Maya or illusion. Maya these days is a popular name that Americans give to their daughters. You know anybody named Maya? It's a common name, and it is a pretty name, but it means the illusion of forgetfulness of material life. It means suffering in the material world. It's not a very good name to give a kid. It means illusion, just like if you had a son or a daughter and you named them misery or pain and suffering. It's not a very good name, but it sounds kind of cute. Nobody and Americans don't know what it means, so they'll name their kid Maya. But we're all in Maya. Maya means illusion, means forgetfulness. I don't know who I am. If I think I'm the lump of matter, it's like if you go out on Boylston Street and you see everybody walking down the street and one guy is going, I'm a Lexus, and another guy is going, I'm a pickup truck, and somebody else is going, I'm a Prius, and another guy is going, I'm a motorcycle. You would think these people they don't seem to know. It seems like they think they're the car they're driving. They think they're a car. You would find that very strange. But that's what everyone is doing. Everyone is thinking, I'm this girl, I'm this boy, I'm this dog, I'm this cat, I'm this old lady, I'm this baby. Everything, I'm this lump of matter. So to a transcendentalist, a pure devotee of Krishna, Prabhupada came and took birth in the material world as a pure devotee of Krishna, and he sees that everyone is going around thinking, I'm this lump of matter, and I think this is very strange. You would think if you saw people and thinking they're a car, you would think maybe I should tell them that they're not their car. Maybe I should tell them. They don't seem to know. They seem to think they're the car. It's like Stephen Hawking. He's an atheist, doesn't believe in God, and his body is a wreck, can hardly move at all, and you would think if I told him, you're not that body. You're not that body. You're an eternally pure spirit soul, free and to move and act in your spiritual form in the kingdom of God with Krishna as your best friend. You would think if I told them that you're not that body, you're a pure spirit soul, he might say, oh, nonsense, there's no God, there's no soul. You would think he'd be happy to hear it. Oh, good, I'm not this crippled up lump of garbage that can't even move. But he wouldn't be happy to hear. He's attached to his idea. Even in such a difficult body, he's still attached to that body. And he's still attached to his concept of denying the existence of God. So that's the situation of everyone in the material world. Everyone is complete. This, even if it's a crippled up garbage body, or if it's a young, healthy body where you can run 100 meters in 10 seconds, or you can be a famous soccer player or something. Even in the best material body, it's still it's still a complete encumbrance to the soul. The body is the thing that covers us and prevents us from doing what we want to do as pure spirit soul. Like if somebody's wearing a straitjacket, or if somebody's tied up by ropes and can't move at all, it's an encumbrance for them. It's not. It doesn't. So this material body restricts us from movement, from behavior, from being free to be ourselves in the association of Krishna. It's not what allows us to act. It's not what allows us to see or hear or smell or have relationships. Or whatever. It's what restricts us. The body is a restricting agent. It's like if you're in prison, your cell restricts you from going anywhere and doing anything you want. So the body is like our own private cell. It restricts us. So anyways, Prabhupada came as a liberated soul, as a pure devotee of Krishna, to the United States, where not only in the United States, but everywhere in the material world, including in India. It's not the fortune of being born, taking birth in India, is that you have a natural tendency to worship God, to have devotion to God. Whereas in the rest of the world, we're also pure spirit souls, but that concept of devotion to God and worship of God is much more covered over. And we're more, you could say, more fully identifying with the body and the material world as our place. But no matter how covered over we are, each one, and we're very covered, we're very much in the darkness of ignorance, but no matter how much covered over we are, everyone, no matter who they are, has the ability to understand the science of Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna, offer the candle to Krishna on the altar and become a pure devotee, retain our identity, regain our memory of our relationship with Krishna, and go back home, back to Godhead, where we belong. We don't belong in the material world of ignorance and suffering. We don't belong here. I don't want to suffer. You don't want to suffer, but you're suffering. I'm suffering. Everyone in the material world, no matter how powerful, how rich, how talented, how famous, how beautiful, everyone in the material world is suffering. But we don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. You don't want to suffer, but we're suffering. So we don't want that. So this is the way to be chanting the names of God and becoming pure devotee of Krishna and going back home is the way to become free from all suffering. Prabhupada came to the United States, first to the United States, and then he started traveling all over the world in 1967 and spreading Krishna consciousness, spreading the chanting of the holy name of Krishna everywhere, all over the world. And now everyone, everywhere, all over the world has the abundant opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, become pure, and go back home, back to Godhead. So that is a specific value of this material of Prabhupada coming and preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world. Suppose we advertised and put a big sign out front of the temple that Elon Musk is going to lecture here on Saturday, and he's going to tell everyone how to become a billionaire. And everyone who comes, he's going to give $1 million to. The first thing. And how many people do you think would be lined up down Commonwealth Avenue on Saturday the line will go for a mile. And all I have to do is go there and I'll get $1 million, and they'll tell me how I can be a billionaire very easily. Well, I think I'll go. And but we advertise, or Krishna advertises, Prabhupada advertises, that if you come to the temple, you can get the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and you can see Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, on the altar, and you can chant Hare Krishna, and you can become free from all the suffering in the material world, and you can go back home, back to Godhead in this very life. So how many people are lined up down the street? Not very many. Although, many people come to the temple, but so that's the state of the degree of ignorance that people are in. Oh, I can get $1 million, I'll go. Oh, I can become free from birth, death, disease, and old age. I can become a pure devotee of God and go back home, back to Godhead, and live there eternally and be happy eternally beyond your wildest dreams. Well, I don't think I'll go. I don't believe in God anyway. Why should I go there? So that's the degree of ignorance of everyone in the material world. We're all so covered over that we think, who cares? I don't even believe in God. Who cares? So that's a state of ignorance, and that's why Prabhupada came to preach, and he'd give Krishna to everyone all over the world, and he's been very successful. Even in his brief time here preaching, he came to the United States in 1966, 65, and he left his body. He was preaching for 11 years, 12 years. And of course, before that, he was preaching in India for many, many years. But when he left India in 1965 and came here, so he's preaching outside of India for 11 years, 12 years. And within those 12 years, within that brief amount of time, he spread Krishna, and then with the help of his followers, disciples, a few in the beginning, but as time went on, more and more and more and more and more and more, and they helped him spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So by the time he left in 1977, there were Hare Krishna temples, ISKCON temples, all over the world. And now it's just increased thousands of times since 1977. So everyone all over the world has the easy opportunity to just come and chant Hare Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. Anyway, so this is in 1971, and Prabhupada, this is after Prabhupada was preaching for 5 years, and these are two of his early disciples, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bali Mardan Prabhu, who lives in Boston now, and he comes to the temple. He's very senior, great disciple of Prabhupada, and he sent them to purchase land in Mayapur in West Bengal for a temple, a Hare Krishna temple. And so that's the scene that's happening now. He had sent two of his disciples, Tamal Krishna and Bali Mardan, to purchase land in Mayapur. 6 days had passed, however, and still they had neither returned nor sent word. He had told them not to return until they had completed the transaction, but 6 days was more than enough time. He was anxious, thinking constantly about his two disciples. So Mayapur is like 80 or 100 miles north of Calcutta, where Prabhupada was, and it takes a few hours to get there by car. So it's not that far, but it took a while to get there, and they were there. And there are a couple of young American men, not very experienced in dealing in business matters in India. It's a very different place from the United States, and they're both young and energetic and very intelligent, and so he sent them there to buy the land for the temple. But they hadn't come back after 6 days, and Prabhupada was worried about them. A breeze arrived, carrying the fragrance of neem trees through the open window. Absorbed in thought, leaning against the white bolster pillow, he paid little attention to the familiar sights in his room. A clay jug with drinking water sat beside him, and a potted tulsi plant sat upon a small wooden pedestal. The electricity, off most of the day and night, was now on, and moths and other insects hovered around the bare bulb overhead. A lizard patrolled the ceiling, occasionally darting forward near the light to capture an insect. Why were Tamal Krishna and Bali Mardan taking so long? It had been more than just a wait of 6 days. He had been trying to obtain land in Mayapur for years, and this time the prospects had been excellent. He had clearly instructed Tamal Krishna and Bali Mardan, and by now they should have returned. The delay could mean a complication or even danger. The land they were trying for was a 9-acre plot, bigga. I don't know how bigga is, say an acre. 9-acre plot on Bhakti Siddhanta Road, less than a mile from the birth site of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Sek brothers, Muslim farmers who owned the plot, had been asking a high price. Only recently had a Calcutta lawyer familiar with Navadvip been able to seriously negotiate a fair price. The Sek brothers had settled for 14,500 rupees, and Prabhupada had authorized withdrawal of the funds from his bank in Krishnanagar. Thus, Tamal Krishna and Bali Mardan had left for Mayapur, while Prabhupada had remained in Calcutta, carrying on with his affairs, but thinking often of the activities of his disciples in Mayapur. Their mission was very important to him, and he kept them in his mind, personally blessing them with his concern. And that's a feature of essential feature of the relationship between the guru and the disciple in bhakti yoga, in Krishna consciousness. Bhakti means devotion, devotional service to God. And yoga, the word yoga, like we're familiar with the word yoke, Y-O-K-A. It's a big, heavy wooden thing that you put around the necks of two oxen or two horses, and so they can pull the plow together or pull a cart together. So our word yoke comes directly from the Sanskrit word yoga, means to link with. So bhakti yoga means to link with Krishna through the process of devotional service. And by logic and common sense, the only way to know anybody is by showing them some devotion. Like you two are friends, so you became friends by showing each other some devotion, some serious interest, and doing things for each other. That's the only way to get to know anyone in the material world. Even if you, in any world, you can't. A dog or a cat or another human being, and whatever type of relationship it is, parents and children, or boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, even in business relationships, you get to know each other by showing some interest, some devotion. It's not going to be a really close relationship, but there has to be some relationship, even in business. And so you have to, the only way to know anyone is by some devotion, some love. And so that's the only way to get to know, reawaken the knowledge of our relationship with God. Also, you have to, through devotional service. And we establish our link with Krishna through our relationship with Krishna's representative, the spiritual master. The spiritual master is sent by Krishna for the specific purpose of connecting other ignorant souls in Maya to him, and through him to Krishna. The comparison in the statement, we have the statement in English, love me, love my dog. Or it's like if you go up to somebody and pet their dog, then immediately that person says, "Oh, this is a nice person. He likes my dog," and so I'll talk to him. I like him too. Or if there might be some rich man or woman walking on the street with their little kid, and of course, you can't do this in the United States now. But because you can't like walk up to a little kid and give him a piece of candy. But previously, in a more innocent time, a less fearful time, you could say, "Oh, is that your little boy, little girl? Here, a piece of candy, little girl," and the kid could take it, and the mother or father would say, "Oh, what a nice person, giving my kid a piece of candy." And so they would naturally like you. So, anyway, so that's an example that Prabhupada gives about how you connect with Krishna through his representative. You do something nice, you show some love and devotion for Krishna's representative, who's acting in the role of spiritual master, then that's how, then Krishna is pleased by that. And then he said, "Okay, you like my representative, my dear pure devotee. So good. That's how you get to know Krishna." It's very common sense, very easy to understand. And you don't, Krishna doesn't, like you just see some rich guy walking down the street and you go and you say, oh, there's so-and-so rich guy, I'll go up and meet him. And you go up and say, hey, how you doing? Shake your hand, try to shake his hand. He'll be like, who are you? Get away from me. I got stuff to do. Can't you see I'm an important rich guy? And but if but the example is if you pet their dog or give the kid some candy. So we don't approach God directly. We approach Krishna through his appointed pure devotee representative. Okay, I'm going to stop there now, and I'm going to go up and have prasadam. Prasadam, the food, and it means translation. It's a Sanskrit word. It means it's a Sanskrit word, right? It's a Bengali. Anyway, the Sanskrit word, it means the Lord's mercy. So let's go have some prasadam.
Yeah, Krishna feeds them, so the food becomes karma free, the food becomes divine.
Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Krishna Presta Guru Sate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Pracharini Devi Shishya Shandivadi